the shackle off my feet so I could dance.
And it's on my feet. So.
I respect the women that are very strict and are known for being strict.
100%.
Because they get things done quicker than a lot of us that have entered our industry smiling. Talk about romantic relationships now. It does. Because I know with my ex, to be honest, he was my 100% spec. And it's funny because the relationship was like maybe 7 months. But then getting over him...
Took a while.
Let me not say the timeline so that it's not giving...
Believe. Why do you have believe on your ankle? Why
that
on
was
your
my
ankle?
first tattoo. That I believe my face will take me to where I need to go.
Oh, I'm gonna get believe tattooed on my foot now.
That was my first tattoo. My
That's
very
so
first tattoo.
cute.
Because you see how it's almost dying.
I like
Actually,
this.
yeah.
I love that.
What does
one,
the Chinese
love.
say?
It
If you say it says love, I'm gonna be so
fresh.
It
mad.
doesn't mean
Like,
love.
Is it?
So the story about that tattoo is it was an Asian guy that did it. So I think he was really trying to make sure that the tattoo showed.
Okay, fair.
So this one
So neat.
is but like it means freedom. I got this at the beginning of my separation.
Oh, freedom indeed. Take the shackle off my feet so I could dance.
And it's on my feet, so it was very symbolic. It was not like as if I was in bondage or anything. No, please. But like,
Did you plan it?
to be honest, no. And
Serendipity.
I got
That's the
it
English now.
because I felt free in the sense that I
This
was
story so touching.
living my own decision, not us getting into the podcast. I would not introduce that guest. So hi guys, welcome to the brand new episode of the podcast. I'm very, very excited for our guest today.
Yeah, we love a girl boss.
So Debbie is I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but she's also a huge fan of the podcast, so this makes it even more
I know.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But Debbie, please introduce yourself.
So my name is Debbie. You know, this is not a formal podcast. So this is
Not a formal podcast.
like I have 2 different sides.
Yes.
Okay.
So by the time you start saying introduce yourself, I'm entering into business mode. I'm thinking,
know.
So just Debbie.
No, you have to say
No,
your
but you have to
accolades.
so we need to talk about what you do, because what you do is
Okay.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and it's also like a unique field, right?
Fair enough.
So I
yeah.
think it's very important that like we talk about what you do.
Okay, so I work in sports. I run Nigeria's first sports radio station.
Yeah.
But now we're not just a radio station, we're a complete media house. So it's called Brila Media.
Come
So
on.
that's what I do. I'm a chief operating officer.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Do you know, I'm trying to dance so that the serious side, I can feel
you
it.
can
I can feel it coming like
But you guys have done a lot of stuff. I followed Afcon more because of your page. You're very, very committed.
I'm very passionate. See, when I entered that mode of like talking about sports, especially women's football, see,
I know.
I can very quickly change the topic today. You know,
Love
like
that.
I'm very big on like creating space for women in sports, because I think that we're too few and we're not making the kind of money that, see, don't believe the hype. Like there's money to be made. We're not making the kind of money that needs to be made. So, and I think that I'm very privileged, to be honest. So I try to use my seat and my influence to create room for other women. I love my job.
I love
Yeah.
that.
What would you say is one thing that Nigerians don't know about women's sports, or like female sports in Nigeria? What is one thing that you think is like a fun fact or something that will surprise people when they hear it?
I'm trying to think of like something positive to say, because when we address women's sports, there's this thing where people believe, oh, you're creating chaos in every room that you bring this topic into. But the truth is, I can't really think of anything positive for now. Maybe the fun fact would be that our team, the Super Falcons, are the most recognized Nigerian team. Yeah, so in terms of, even if you put the men and the women on a global scale, we have more accolades, we have more cups, we have
that's
more
incredible.
everything.
Wow.
But it doesn't compare to the pay, the relevance.
It doesn't translate.
Even like men's World Cup, I believe the price was 400 million USD, I believe. For women, it was 150. So the winner for women, it was 150. So there's a huge gap, you know. The highest paid male footballer would get like maybe 130 million. Then women, you would hear something like 4.6, you know. So
as highest paid.
yeah, so
That's
it's
crazy.
yeah, so it's not there's a lot of
That's a huge discrepancy.
especially for African. See, there's global scale, and then there's now African women's football. That's another conversation for another day, because even, the truth is, even parents don't necessarily even want their girl child to be playing football. They don't want, you know, if anything, you're going to enter sports, enter as a broadcaster. And even me, to be honest, if there are times where I go for meetings and they don't even expect you to have so much knowledge, so they also try to test my knowledge on certain games, or they'll ask you what's the meaning of free kick. I'm like what does that have to do? Like what does that have to do? What does
I feel like your position seems like one where you just have to constantly prove yourself.
Oh no, definitely. And especially because I think I work in a legacy business. So the business was founded by my dad. So that's another thing, because there's the whole succession angle of the whole thing. Before I took on this role, even though I was actively in the business, and the truth, if you know my dad, again, when I say this thing, it looks like it seems like I'm trying to prove a point, but my daddy will not just hand over his life's work to somebody that will come and mess it up, right? There's a place of trust and like workings, right? But even with like the evidence of even what I did with my agency before taking on this role, it's still to many people internally and externally, it's still not good enough. So I think that's where self-esteem comes in, self-work. Like there's a lot of internal work that I do with myself constantly. So I look in the mirror, you are great, you are beautiful, you are like,
I love it.
You know, because you enter rooms and people are expecting, and that's another thing. When I enter a room, I try to ensure that you don't forget that I was in that room. And I do think I have done a good job, if I say so myself, because they call me back when after leaving this room. So now people bringing out the business side. I can hear my business voice. So let's change topic.
I love it.
I love the energy though. I feel like I like when people can like be serious, and then like I like, because not every time you play like you have to actually be serious. And if you're in a field like that, you have to be 2 times as serious. It's sort of like being like I feel like being a presenter or even a DJ, you always have to make sure, like, first of all, you show up on time, because you know if you don't show up on time, people looking at you like that's how this one is. Or you show up and you're not dressed on theme, this one is unprofessional. Or like, you know, people are just so quick to want to say that
make a snap judgment. Yeah, there's I think with women in like male dominated fields though, like, first of all, men just get away with murder because it's a man's field. But regardless, when women show up, everything has to be perfect. Like there has to be a perception of perfection. If not, you fall short. And and
if you're stressed out due to some imperfections, you're being dramatic. And if there's some imperfections, it's because you're a woman. So I feel like it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Oh no, you know, recently I had a conversation with someone maybe 2 days ago, and I was telling him, I said, you set a standard for me that you cannot even meet. Like, you set an expectation for me that your own KPI, you have failed your own. But you are looking at me and expecting that I would surpass a KPI that was set for me by my board of directors, that I have surpassed time. And I've been CEO for 4 years, and every KPI I have surpassed it. But you are failing at yours. But you believe that because I'm showing up in a certain way, I am not meeting my numbers or my books or whatever. So I hear you completely in terms of like the way people expect us to show up. And now I'm realizing that you also need to be stricter. Like, I think I used to smile a lot. I used to smile a lot. And I also believe it's because you enter these rooms and you want people to like you. And people you feel like you doesn't get you anywhere.
I think about becoming a feminine Agbero.
You have to be a feminine. You have to be able to change it real quick.
Nah, standard. Yeah, that's what I'm actively implementing now. Because that side is there, but it's like you try to kill it so that also people don't think, oh, you're difficult to work with. Oh, this one, No, but I realize now that even in short, I respect the women that are very strict and are known for being strict.
100%.
Because they get things done quicker than a lot of us that have entered our industry smiling. I think that when you smile too much, it's just
People
slower.
take you for idiot.
Yeah, so I'm learning that too. If anybody has a book, please they can comment, right? You can recommend a book.
She's looking for a book to read so that
she can learn.
You know how that book on why men love bitches or something? There's like a business version of.
Did you read that book?
I read it. It's just looking back now. It's just waste of my
rubbish.
time now. Don't reply text messages.
Just basically.
What do you
I
think?
swear that men love bitches though.
100%. Treat and mean, keep him keen.
I'm not even trying to be funny, but I feel like maybe it's in my older, like more recent times, in my older years, that I've been nice to somebody and the man didn't try to take me for an idiot. Yeah. No, I feel like in general, when you're nice to men,
I think it's self-respect. I don't know if it's about being nice. I think that they can tell when you don't respect yourself in a situation and they feed off it.
Yes and no, but what I've realized with a lot of men is that when you're nice, they think you're a pushover.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, so when they now when they now think you're a pushover, they try to push on your boundaries. I feel like giving men space, like room for error, is an error in itself because it's a degenerative disease.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? If this is your boundary, if they push it by 2 steps the first time and you say, no, please return the boundary. The second time they push it by 4 steps until they have completely removed the boundary.
Yeah.
Me, I like to say I sound warning the first time. The first time you do something, I sound a warning. If you don't hear that warning, I disappear.
But do you sound a warning when you really like the person?
100%. That's even when the warning is
like
louder.
When I really like someone, I kind of like, I was like, okay.
So that's what I was like, to say,
okay, right? Boundary push, but okay, let's wait till next week.
Exactly. So this is what I was going to say about you saying, like, I think you made a comment and I was about to say that, like,
self-respect.
No, it's not even about. So yes, I had a self-respect comment, but I feel like sometimes when you like a person, honestly, men don't realize that you are the reason why the relationship is going the way that it's going. So like, if you even like, so for example, we've been in situations where like you're talking to someone that is not really giving you the amount of attention you want or you require, but like you're there because you just like him. So I like me enough for the both of us, right?
Yeah.
And then you're letting it rock, and he is taking advantage of the benefits that he is gaining from you being like that, but he is not going to fully commit to you or give you anything that you want.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you switch up and then it's like, what's wrong with you? When did you become a bitch all of a sudden? Nigga, I don't like you anymore. Yeah. So like, if my eye is clear, gone, the scales have fallen from my sister.
And then that's when they start calling I just see,
like every other Tom, Dick and Harry in the street. So like, I'm not more tolerant to your rubbish. I'm not more friendly. Like it's just like okay.
I feel like, in all honesty, the best thing for women to do is to try your hardest to put your tolerance down to 0. Why do I say 0? Because as a woman, you will still bend small. True. If your tolerance is at 50, when you find a guy you like, you'll bend to 70.
Listen, you can even bend.
You can bend to 100, say. But if your tolerance is already at 0, by the time they push it to 20, 25, you're already saying, my back is paining me. What the hell are you doing?
You know what I've like? It's so funny that we're talking about this because it ties in perfectly with our topic of conversation. But I was saying that like sometimes I believe, not sometimes, most times, I believe genuinely that love is actually a mental illness.
It is 100%. What?
Because once that element of like or care,
my god, the person will even be looking different.
It washes away.
Yes,
I swear.
I was like,
this guy, I feel like you're not that.
I think there was someone that I used to talk to that.
Like, why you look different?
Tried to talk to me again, and I could have sworn he had mouth odor.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, you're like, what's happening?
Strange. This is strange.
No.
I feel like, yeah, you're right strange. On the love is a mental illness. But you know, there's some mental illnesses that it's like, ooh, amazing. Well, not ooh, amazing. But like,
may that kind of mental illness not find me again.
Albert Einstein. Like, you know, like Albert Einstein, they said he was a bit, yeah. But he was a genius. So love can be like, oh my God, so great, so amazing. But then you can end up falling off a building and it doesn't end up. Leap. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about, so our conversation, we're talking about letting go. So we're talking about in the context of like, when is the right time to let go of not only romantic relationships, so even business, friendships as well. When you should let go of a job, when you should let go of some clothes that you own, jewelry, shoes. There were some shoes I tried to wear last week to go to drinks, and like I wore those shoes from my dressing room. I had those shoes from my dressing room to my living room. You could tell that those shoes, they
was shaking. They have suffered. In the next life, I could see you and run.
There was no way I could even finesse it. And I was like, damn, I need to throw these shoes away. And I was thinking, I should just throw them away this night. Guess what? I still left them there. They're by my living room door. Wow. Like if you walk into my flat now, you see the shoes. You see the shoes right there.
I'm screaming.
I just have a sort of sentimental attachment to them.
No, I think so. In terms of like relationships, friendships, work, those sorts of things, I think as soon as they start taking you for idiot, get the hell. But in all honesty, with like clothes, shoes, bags, all of this, yeah, I think you can detach but not let go.
Yeah, so that's my own. So I have 6 months.
So do you guys think I should sell my wedding rings?
Hi.
In this economy?
But you make so much money, and then you can use to buy. And you can buy, like, there's so many things you can buy. Bitcoin, you can invest.
You can buy. You remember, instead of those people that are renting Van Cleef, you buy your own. Buy your own.
Yeah. No, but maybe wait. Maybe don't sell now, because the end of the year, because dollar is 1.5 now. I'm a businesswoman, so
I like it though.
So don't sell now. Thinking. Wait, but just keep it in a safe space. Okay. So.
You want to say something?
Yeah. So what I was going to talk about instincts. Yeah, letting go. But like, I think your instincts will tell you sometimes that like this stage of your life is over and it's time to move on.
Sometimes my instincts are broken.
I think my own is instincts. Like every time. So I think regards to work, right? So before I actively started working in Brila, I was running my digital agency. But then the thing was, I was one leg in, one leg out, because I don't know if I have commitment issues. Maybe I do. And I was afraid of this whole you're working with your dad thing. You know, I didn't want people to lose respect for me and all that. But the truth is that there was a time I went to Babcock to speak, and it was literally like this panel session. And I just knew, like my instincts just told me, yeah, you're in the wrong room. Like this chapter of your life is done. So I don't know, maybe it's a God thing. I don't know. But it's like sometimes you can just tell that it's time to move.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
So, there's one, like, I think there are various stages of letting go. There's realizing that you need to leave, and then there's actually leaving. So, let's now also even talk about that, because, like, let me talk about my own in terms of work, right? When I quit my job in November last year. And before I quit in November, I tried to resign in March. And before I sent my resignation in March, it took me a while. Like, I already wanted to resign the November of the previous year. But sentimental attachments, at the time, I'd been there for 6 years.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's a long time, like, But the reality of it is, I felt like I had grown as much as I can in that space. So I had the opportunity to do like a talk show, a reality show, this one show, all sorts of types of media, right? And I felt like I had grown in that space, and like I didn't know what other space I could grow in. So when I tried to resign, that was my conversation with my boss at the time, and he then suggested that I try my hand at producing. And that's what made me start producing. But I feel like at the end of the day, I eventually still resigned in November for a plethora of reasons, but one of the reasons was still sort of tied into why I wanted to resign in March at the beginning. So in March was a good time for me to have let go, but I did not let go. So it's like I always end up facing the consequences of not letting go.
Because you'll still be forced into that stage. Like it will still happen.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, how do you feel like you can push yourself from the point of realizing that you need to let go and then actually now letting go?
Free yourself from conditioning.
What kind of conditioning?
So I feel like I feel like there's the same type of culture in the UK and in Nigeria, but for different reasons, right?
Yeah.
In the UK, you can enter an office job and you find someone there, not even an office job. When I was in my first year of uni, I was a supervisor in Asda. Like that's the UK version of Walmart. I was a supervisor in Asda. And there was one old lady, that had been working there for the past 24 years. And you find that in offices, right? But in the UK, it's very much, it makes sense to stay with the job. Yeah. It's always last one in, first one out. You're less likely to be made redundant. Your employer will match your pension. Just lots of, these are the benefits why you should stay with the job. You can go through the ranks. I don't know what rank that lady started at because I applied for a position at 18 as a supervisor and she was my subordinate. So I'm not too sure where she started.
Just get really comfortable with.
Yeah, but in Nigeria as well, there is that same just stay where you are mentality. But with Nigeria, it's either as per that's your oga, he put you on. If you leave, you're disrespecting him. You're not loyal. You're not this. You're not that. Or it's the condition of the country. Okay, if you leave this job now,
what's next?
What are you gonna do? What job are you gonna get? I feel like obviously you can't make rash decisions, right? But when you sense that you need to leave somewhere, the first thing you need to do as soon as that thought passes your mind is, what do I need to do to leave? And how the hell do I get out of here? When I was in the UK, right, I used to work in tech. So
every time she says that, she's like,
so I'm one of the original girls in tech. Yeah. But 18 months into the job, I was like, I don't belong here. I need to leave. I need to get the fuck. One day randomly, my dad does not talk on work matters with us. As long as I'm not sending you monthly money. I don't give a heck. As long as I have financial freedom for my children, I don't care what you're doing with your life. So my dad looked at me one day and he was like, if you don't leave that job yourself, they're going to kick you out.
Which is true.
I wasn't like complaining to him. Like, obviously he's my dad. I talked to him. But like,
you just tell him there's something wrong.
Yeah. So literally when the thought first crossed my mind, what I now said to myself is, okay, what do I want to do? I know I want to DJ. I know I want to present. Okay, how do I make it happen? I bought DJ equipment. I started disturbing my dad at the weekends. I said, okay, I was on the radio, got on the radio. I started doing gigs here and there, one or two, like nothing super dramatic, but like I was getting my feet wet. And one day, just like my dad said, if you don't leave, they're going to throw you out of there, you know. They called me and my team in and they said,
Chai.
Wow.
That's the first and only time I have been made redundant. And I said to myself, it will never happen again. It can never happen again. Like, I can't feel like this because of a job. The only thing that saved me was because I had already been thinking about this, I had been making plans towards it. So I had been putting money away. Obviously, I've been practicing. So my own is, okay, what can we do? Let's do it. That's how I ended up in Nigeria, by the way. But it's one thing to have a thought. A thought will always remain a thought if there's no action behind it. Do you understand? Even though you think it might have been small what you were doing when you first thought about leaving, you were still doing something. It's frustration that finally pushed you out.
You know, the truth of what I realized is that I can be a bit of a coward sometimes.
And that's okay.
That's my truth.
Which is almost everyone when you're changing, when you're transitioning.
I can really be a bit of a coward. I feel like I know that I've done a lot of work in like stopping people pleasing and a whole bunch of stuff, but I still believe that there's still like a very long way to go. I think that like I spent so much of my 20s being scared of people's opinions, scared of what people say, scared of how like I just spent it being so scared. And a lot of people, whenever I say this, a lot of people don't believe. They're like, are you that you live life unapologetic? My dear, I was just doing it. Like whatever people want to say, people should say it.
Exactly. Yeah, actually.
So I think my biggest problem is knowing when to let go, because I learned a very valuable lesson very recently, and it pained me. You know the kind of pain where something has happened to you since, and you just find yourself constantly talking about it. Anybody that saw me during when this thing happened, even people that I'm not particularly close to, I was just talking about it because I couldn't believe how much of an idiot I had been taken for. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then like after a while, I realized that I need to like accept the role I played in this situation. And I cannot forget, after I finished doing my nails, I came out of my nail tech's shop and I was waiting for my food. And like, so what? The delivery guy is running late. Is that enough reason for me to be so angry? And I'm like, why am I so angry? And I realized that something from the situation had triggered me that day. I sat in my car and I cried for like 20 minutes. Like, you know that ugly yelling, disgusting cry, like my t-shirts, they was dribbling, like I cried. And like, I feel like whenever I cry like that, I've accepted the situation and it's just time for me to move on from it. And like, and the kind of person I am is, my problem is I just always have to get to that point. That very soul wrenching, like, oh my God, I have to do something point. And then once I do it, that's the end.
So my personal theory is that where we need to be right now. That's like I don't believe in forcing things.
Do you think so?
And my friend always says that when you wake up is your morning.
Yes.
So I've been in relationships where everybody's calling me like, Debbie, what are you still doing with this person? And I know that, and okay, not present then because all things are passed away.
Hallelujah, Jesus.
But I knew then that I needed to leave, but I just didn't have the strength to leave. And then it just like one day the person was talking. So I'm just talking about this one person. The person was talking to me, and I was just like, yeah, this doesn't work for me. And it wasn't anything different from it was just one moment. And honestly, I just think that is good. Like, I feel like this thing you're talking about where you get to that point where you're crying in your car, these moments where you're thinking, I need to do something, that very moment is what creates the change. And I think that is God that puts that. I don't know, maybe a preacher needs to come and break it down to me. But that moment is where change starts from. Yes. And I think at that moment, you can't force, like, even if you cry and you don't have strength to continue the journey. So I don't know. I just think that
I agree with that. Yeah, there'll be a shift. Like, all it takes is for, oh my God, oh goodness. You see, when it comes to the UK workforce, I became, there was a tweet, and the tweet is, what workplace moment radicalized you against the workforce?
I saw that tweet.
And I said to myself, I have honestly been radicalized in terms of being in the workforce since I was 18. You cannot tell me nothing. Again, I used to work at this is let me tell you the Asda one. The EE one is long. Asda, I worked Christmas Eve. Yeah. I was meant to work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. a 12-hour shift.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you work 12 hours, every 4 hours, you're meant to get a 15-minute break. And every 6 hours, you're meant to get a 45 or 30-minute break. Right?
Okay.
So what was meant to happen is I'm meant to have 2 15 minutes.
You know how you're calculating this? I'm thinking of, you know how they calculate Guinness Book of Records when person can start. That's why it's giving like, okay, when you start for this, you can rest.
Yeah. You can accumulate your 1 minutes. Yeah, exactly that. So I was meant to have 2 15 minutes and 2 30, 45-minute break, right? I only took 1 15-minute break in the 12 hours. New Christmas Eve, everybody's trying to shop for the thing. I had told my manager that, okay, I want to take my 45-minute breaks because I want to do my Christmas food shop, blah, 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 this, and that. Obviously, that didn't happen, right? So my sister has now had to come in, and do the shopping around 9, 10 and then pick me up, So remember, I meant to finish work at 9. My sister has come in around 9:30, 10. Because of the queues, everything, she's finished food shopping around 11. I'm still working. This is now 14 hours.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Christmas.
Is there a reason you're doing this? Like, was it to show... not you vexing, but was it to show? No, I'm trying to understand something, because I think that there's another thing where like people, like, you know how Nigerians would say, I've never gone on leave.
No, it was fucking time and a half.
Okay.
I'm making more money. We're gonna
okay, to make more money. Okay.
It's time and a half. Hey, please.
No, I thought it was out of dedication, because there's some people that will say I've never.
You're not my father.
No. I mean, now there's, I remember that. Because some people say I've never gone on leave. I'm dedicated, but it's like, go on leave. You
need to go on leave.
Like, go on leave. Go and rest. Yeah.
So that's how I've told my manager, like, I'm about to clock out. Why did this white lady start shouting at me in the middle of the store floor?
Why? Because they're still busy?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a you problem.
I said, huh? She was like, can't you say it's busy? I said, I was meant to finish at 9. We're a team. I said, my team members have gone home. Yeah. I'm only here because I'm a supervisor. I'm just telling you need to approve my overtime, brother. Yeah. Like, I'm not here for all of this.
What is your talk?
After that, I said to myself, no manager can talk to me anyhow. No manager can talk to me anyhow. So for me, when I used to like work in the UK, a lot of managers didn't like me because I didn't take nonsense. Yeah. You can't scam me.
As you should.
You can't scam me or guilt me into doing things that aren't out. Like, when I worked my tech job, they tried to get me to do things that I did. They wrote me up to HR that I am not doing my tasks. I didn't say anything. I went to the HR meeting. As HR saying they're disappointed, they're this, they're that, they're this. I said, okay, what am I not doing? I said, can you write it out?
Exactly.
Write it out. Once they write it out, better trap. Once they wrote it out, I said, here's my job description. Yeah. Where in my job description or my contract does it say that? If you want me to do that, put more money into my pocket. Do you understand? But in all of those times, because I had created an environment where, yes, you are getting what you need done. But I am making sure my needs are met. But I am not like exerting myself. So for me, it was like, when it was time for me to leave, or when I felt it was time for me to leave, it's always like they felt that I took more from them. Does that make sense? Because obviously labor is a money-making scheme. You're trying to get as much labor out of someone for as less pay as possible. So for me, it's a situation where part of knowing when to leave is, am I learning any more from this situation? And I mean that in everything, even a terrible situation. I always refer to my crazy ex-boyfriend, very terrible relationship, abusive, when the day that my eye clear, do you know the thing I learned? I learned that you're a very stupid person. And as I've learned this lesson, I'm off.
Why are you like this?
No, but
she's a very stupid person.
Yeah, no,
I get that.
Yeah.
I have seen that the reason you're doing this is because you feel like all of these things you're projecting makes you more masculine and manly. But I've actually seen like you're a caricature. You're a small boy.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But in my life, how I want to live, up Nepa, I don't want to be involved with a small boy.
Yeah, I think I've kind of gotten to the point where I've gotten to the point where I have really shared a lot of things. I really have. And I think that I'm very tolerant. And I'm also at the point where I don't want anything that is going to sort of disturb my peace.
Exactly.
You know, I had a situation one time, and it was very, very hectic.
Fair?
That's the adjective I use.
Apt description.
I think somebody might have even seen me fighting in Lowkey Phase 1 at some point in that situation.
Jesus.
But like, I was...
Ladies, if you're ever fighting, just make sure you're winning in the video or something. Like, that's all I ask.
Yeah, winning in the video. I was very, very... I don't even know what to describe myself as. But like you said, like, people will be talking to you and be telling you, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you just be there, like... And like I always say, it's just always something very random that makes me just go over.
You just look at the person like, yeah,
it's okay. It's enough.
Yeah, this is over.
And I've realized another thing is that even people that did you bad, they will try to re-enter your life.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that is so crazy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's certain things that I do to certain people that, I recently found out that somebody that I used to be like a total dick to, like, did the soft block and the block thing for me. And I instantly said, good for you. Like, it's about time.
Thank you.
Like, good for
I
you.
like the self-respect.
Good on you for establishing that boundary, because I'm the villain in some people's story, obviously.
True.
100%.
So, like, good on you for establishing that boundary. Like, I'm very proud of you. Like, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that even made me be like,
Yeah.
Weary.
Self-awareness is also, I think self-awareness helps you. Me, I'm talking about romantic relationships now. It
does.
Because I know with my ex, to be honest, he was my 100% spec. Like, goddamn.
I don't go for my spec anymore.
Like, jeez. So, and it's funny because the relationship was like maybe 7 months. But then getting over him,
it took a while.
Let me not say the timeline so that we're not giving
it was
obsession.
Longer than the relationship. Jesus.
And at some point, I even sat with myself. I'm like, Debbie, like, why is it taking you so long to get over this person?
I had a team meeting.
And I realized that it was because I had scarcity mentality. I believed that spec, you know how they say you're not your spec. So it was like, finally, my spec I'm now yours. Even though if you review the relationship, I bet wasn't even really his spec, So I still do not win even inside the relationship. But I realized I was holding on because I'm like, I'm not going to find you.
I understand that scarcity mentality.
And scarcity makes us hold on longer than we should.
I think a huge part of me was very afraid of what was going to happen when I quit my job and when I left my marriage. And I held on longer than I should have, I would say. I think that, especially my job, because, the first 3 months of this year were very, very confusing for me. I resigned in November. I was house hunting in November. I was busy. It didn't really hit me. January, when like just December was over, everything was over. This is a job that even during lockdown I was going to the office. And I did this thing for 7 years. I'll now wake up
and like,
Monday to Friday. Nothing.
What do we do today?
Bruh, I used to film every day.
Yeah.
And I went from filming every day to every morning. My call time was 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's not like as if I used to go straight to work at like 1 o'clock.
And then you see how people that remember you from that time, they're asking, how far this now? What are you?
Listen, like it was a serious character developing time for me. No. That's why, like, a lot of times, like, and that's kind of why I like staying at home. I feel like it's also kind of, even before the podcast, like really, really much like got back on his feet and started working, like, for us. I felt like going out wasn't fun for me, and I was having this conversation with Amila, and I was like, I don't like going out as much anymore because I just feel like there's just something that I'm lacking, and it just doesn't seem as fun anymore. Like, and I judge myself a lot, right? That's why people's judgment doesn't really bother me. But Amila was saying something, and she was like, maybe it feels like, because Nigeria, in Lagos, when you sit down and have a conversation with somebody, even like today, the first thing you talk about is like, what do you do? Do you get? So now it's like, how many times you say, oh, I quit my job in November, bitch, you don't do anything. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's thinking about it in that sense, and like trying to make sense of it. And then I now started also even pressuring myself with the athleisure thing, because I was trying to start the athleisure thing, and oh wow, I've already said what it is. Anyway, I was trying to start the project, my project, and I knew that I shouldn't have tried to manufacture in Nigeria, but the desperation and like with seeing things like trying to do what it is, do what you can with what you have, and I've produced stuff that I cannot sell. So it's like I had to like sort of like talk to myself and tell myself to calm down and realize that like it's really honestly a marathon and not a sprint. Like whoever it is that, and comparison is a thief of joy.
Yes, so.
But unfortunately, human nature, you always compare yourself. And I'm always saying, like, the people that I'm comparing myself to, they've had so many other elements in their own journey that, and I don't think dollar was like 1,005. Do you understand what I'm saying? So trying to start a business now with dollar being 1.5 and 1.15 and everything is giving scary scenes. And you also need to remember that the cost of everything has literally tripled. Yeah. I was talking to my friend a few days ago, and my meter started beeping, and I screamed. I was like, oh! And I was like, that means I have to spend like 20 or 30K on electricity again. And she was like, I should check my app for when last I bought lights. And I checked my app, and I bought light 2 days ago.
Jesus.
And I was about to buy light.
Hobara, Jesus. Oh my God.
Oh my God, you're scaring me. Because I'm about to move it. I'm about to start living alone. So I've been watching all the YouTube videos.
Good luck.
And everybody's like, Debbie, maybe, the timing is so
it's
wrong.
Like maybe you'll be turning off your freezer at night.
Listen. No, the timing, I'm not even going to lie to you. The housing market, when I started living on my own, right? And how it is now, it is so bad. Like, when I was moving in when I was moving on in December or in January, where I moved from was in phase 1. I moved further into Lowkey, and my rent is more further into Lowkey than it was in phase 1.
Yeah, but this is what we're talking about, letting go now. Because we're talking about letting go.
She should let go and live under the bridge.
No, that's what we're talking. No, what we're no, what I'm saying is like I want to transition from actively staying with family to get
okay. Who do you live with now?
With my family.
Like your parents and stuff?
So now I want to move. I think that I'm my most productive self when I have a space to myself. But now that's this letting go thing we're talking about. Because now you're advising me from a good place, right? About housing market and all that.
No, I think.
But then now I don't want to let go.
I think you should move out.
No, I've changed my mind.
I think you should move out. I think moving out definitely.
But I don't want to be paying 30K electricity every 2 days.
My dear.
I mean, I sweat a lot though, so my won't be. Yeah, I can't.
I feel like you find me. I have inverter. I can't lie. I do off my AC these days. I do off fan.
Yeah, even fridge and all these things.
No, I won't turn off my fridge because I need cold water, and I think that's a non-negotiable for me. But one thing I'm going to do is off my AC. These days, I turn on my heater when I'm ready to shower. Like I'm not trying to be excessive about anything. And I think that's the pro of living alone, because you on your own, you off your lights, you off your AC, you off your everything. I think being alone gives you a sense of independence that you cannot buy.
I definitely am ready for my own space.
It's just expensive.
I live with in a household where they say, as a woman, until you are married.
No, my dad has definitely said that.
Under the covering of your family.
No, my daddy has been saying that.
Cheers, Dr. Gaba. You did a thing on that one.
My dad has definitely been saying that.
Maybe you know what's happening.
Hey, I was like,
but still, because you know what's happening, they're gonna come to that side.
I mean, when I wanted to move out, my popsy was like, I can never forget, he laughed. Like, I cracked some joke of the century.
I'm screaming.
I was so
I was so
offended.
That's hilarious.
I was just like,
wait a minute, you playing on my top. So don't do that.
I told him, I said, okay, Daddy, I'm glad you find it funny, because that was my rebel era. And I was like, I'm glad you find it funny.
Avril Lavigne.
I'm still going to move, you know. And my dad, like, the night before I was supposed to move,
he locked the gate.
My dad scattered my suitcase.
You're joking. I'd have preferred if you locked yours.
My daddy.
Was he against? Was that him telling you that he was against it or what?
No, so I think he had already told her. He decided to show her.
My father was never really a great communicator. So I think he didn't know how to deal with the fact that I was openly rebelling. So he used fear tactic a lot to raise us. So when the fear tactics did not work, he said, Am I? Are you serious?
He was you're messing with.
He was very confused. So, as in, I can never forget that he was yarning me that day, and he started yelling at me. I was like, Daddy, all this is what they're saying. I'm still going to move, and I walked out and I closed the door.
You said that scattered your suitcase.
You know what?
Did you have a plan?
Yes, I had a plan.
You don't understand. She had a place, not just a plan. She had a place.
I walked out. I can never forget. I hadn't showered that day because I wanted to shower before I went to bed. Because I noticed that the way the night was going, it was a Saturday night. I can never forget this day. I remember it clear as day. I was 22. I said, whatever it is that is going to happen tomorrow. I told my mom already that I'm leaving. I told my mother where I was going, so I even gave her the address, everything. So it was not like as if I was hiding, but my mom no hungry. And it was time for me to let go of that house. And I remember, like, I was wearing a towel and a house coat. So I finished talking to him. Just went back upstairs. I was trying to take my stuff to go and shower in my parents' room. And my person just entered my room and just said, saying, what you say you're leaving this house. Only leave this house with the things that you've bought with your own money. So I'm like, okay. I had started one sewing around Buba business. So I was like, okay, like these are the things I have.
You safe. You get a jugbo.
You know, I said, where did you see the money to buy these things? this one. So my mom see now, like my mom was in her room. She was hearing all these rockers and she just came and she was like, what's going on? Just saw my mom fighting. Like arguing, not fighting, but just going back and forth, arguing. And that day my mouth was sharp. The more I spoke, the more my father could not believe it. Yeah. Like
it was flabbergasted.
It was his flabbers were gasted. Do you know that my phone beeped? He now said, I knew it. It's that stupid phone. He snatched my phone and said that I want to see how I'm going to live without my phone. It was like a whole thing. So the whole drama, and that's the thing about this, the point of what I'm saying is like me when I wake up my mind the day before,
there's nothing.
The day before, I can promise you that I would have never had the audacity to do what I was doing. But that day gone, I was like, nah, bro, I'm outies. So long story short, my popsy took my phone. He said he wants to see who I'm texting. I should unlock my phone. I was like, never.
Screaming.
And like it was like a whole thing. Anyway, Shasha, it was my sister. My sister had like, so I was going to stay in a friend's house, and then my sister had offered to help me pay my first rent.
Oh, so sweet.
So I was like,
shout out to Big Sis.
You know, I told my dad that if he should see who is telling me to move out, because my sister was the champion of me, like, you know, moving out.
Yes, in your space.
And I really put my foot down, and like I really said, like, no, I'm not going to agree. And like, you know, the next morning we had a lot of back and forth that evening, and like we just went to bed. The next morning they were going to church. I said, I'm not going.
Oh shit!
Was
like, rebellious.
My mom was just like,
it's giving
children of Anarchy. So like behind that was there any concern for his feelings? I'm trying to understand like the thought process, or you were just so done that it's like whatever anybody wants to say, that's their business. Were you angry about?
Was very, very. He did the best he could with the best that he knew, but there are a lot of flaws in how he raised or he tried to raise us.
Because I realized that I really care about my parents' emotions. So it's like the minutes they are sharing their opinion about something, even though in that moment I'm like putting my foot down, behind I realized that deep down I'm concerned or affected in a little way, whether I want to admit it or not.
Well, yes.
So maybe letting go to, maybe you just need to be like, you know what, bye to everybody.
The dynamic of your relationship with your
is different.
Obviously different from mine. Because so like I'm like, obviously this is not a therapy session, but like I feel like my dad was like the typical Nigerian father that his provision was his entire parenting. So like, and that doesn't mean like he's not a person. I don't think, like, I know my father loves me, but it doesn't mean that he's not someone that made mistakes or he didn't always have the right answers, but he was very, very, it was either his way or the highway.
Yeah.
So I think that was the first time of me like really speaking up for myself and like standing up for myself.
Yeah.
And you know, the first time my dad ever told me that, like when I told my dad I wanted to study mass comm, he told me he wasn't going to pay my school fees. Like he said, there was like a whole thing. And like the first time he ever told me he was proud of me was when he watched me on TV. And I'm just like, I struggled so much in uni because he made me study economics. He literally, my dad used to show up to my school to see if I'm still in economics.
You're joking.
Yeah. I'll come down from class one day. I was just see my popsy in my HOD's office.
Jesus.
That's how my dad was. So like when I said I was going to go and work for the channel that I went to work for, my father was like, what are you saying? He says this thing, what are you talking? Like when, like, it's not like my father went to King's College in England, but once you start saying rubbish, he will just look at you like this. I'm like,
no, you can't know.
What are you talking? So there's a lot of that day, but I feel like that was the beginning of my letting go journey, I would say. That was the first day that I was like, and after I left that day, I didn't go back to my parents' house for like 6 months. And that's good and bad, but it's more bad because even when I was in very bad situations, I was just like, I'd literally rather figure it out.
Because, so if you remove romantic relationships, now the truth is sometimes I've stayed in situations longer because of the emotions of other parties involved.
Yes.
E.g., this moving out thing.
Yes.
Like, the same thing. Like, so my own is different, where I've had conversations with my dad, but to him, the dynamic of me staying with him and him being on the board of the company that I work with, it makes sense because you get home, you can talk, there's that access. But it's also that access I'm trying to restrict, if I'm being honest.
Your whole entire life cannot be about work.
Exactly. But it's like I care, that's my guy. That's my best friend. So I also don't want you to be hurt because of my decision. And it's the same thing even sometimes with friendships where I know I've outgrown a certain friendship and we're not fighting, we're not beefing, but I know that all this, there's no need to hang out. Like it's done. I find myself still going back because I don't know how to communicate to you or to remove myself without hurting your feelings. So maybe I need to deal with people pleasing. I don't like, maybe I need to sort that. Because I really like,
in terms of the parent one, I get what you're saying because I really went through, I was a troublesome like as a young teenager into an older teenager. Oh, I should say Pepe. I answer. So I feel like when I became like a young adult, my parents have always been very liberal, but I feel like to almost try and make up for the stress I put them through, I was always very careful of their feelings. But my dad is a lot more liberal than my mum. But my mum is cooler than my dad.
Say that again.
My dad is a lot more liberal than my mum. Like, if you tell him, hey, I want to jump out of a plane with no parachute, he'll say, I don't think that's a good idea. And why do you want to do that? Well, there's going to be a net at the bottom, but I feel like it's going to benefit me in X, Y, and Z way. He'll be like, okay, just be safe. But my mum, tell her the same. Yeah, that's her, innit? But in terms of like, social media, trending things, my mom, she did that.
Yeah.
Not too sure. My dad has an Instagram account.
You know what's so funny? My mom, when last time I was at home, it was around Chema's birthday. I think it was the morning of Chema's birthday. And my mom was like, today is Chema's birthday. David will not allow us here. What?
Like, where are you getting your gist?
I was like, mommy, please. She was not.
No, but they know gist though. Like, forget.
His house videos. I said, I'm watching Burna Boy.
Oh my god, that's so hilarious.
Yeah, that's the timing my mom's on. But my dad, you say, Wizkid. My dad's gonna say cool kid because he thinks we're just saying words at
random
this point. Do you get it? If they say Davido, he say Tomio, it's okay, daddy. Yeah. But I realized that at a point, because I was trying to make up for like quote unquote past wrongdoing.
Yeah.
I was allowing like my parents, like how I thought my parents would feel to like hold me back. And that wasn't on them. I was preempting how they would feel, and I didn't want them to feel like that, so I wouldn't do certain things.
My therapist says that it's called betraying yourself.
Yeah. So
when you put someone's needs above your needs, you're betraying yourself.
100%. So honestly, I started with my dad because he's a lot more calmer. So I started with my dad. I started communicating. This is what I want. I'm scared it's going to make you feel like that, but it shouldn't make you feel like that because of X, Y, and Z. And that's how we kind of got out of that. And now I'm in a place where I'm not going to lie. If it makes me happy, I love you. I love you, but you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah. No, true. Genuinely. I think that's also a healthy place to be.
Okay.
Honestly.
So let's talk about we need to we've been at this episode for an hour.
Yeah.
We need to talk about
action steps.
Yes, action steps on letting go.
Identify when someone's taking you for idiot. Or something is taking you for idiot.
I think sometimes you know that, but you just want to deceive yourself. You want to gaslight yourself into thinking that.
Gaslight yourself.
Yeah, imagine.
It's self-awareness. Like, you even need to find out why you're letting that happen.
Oh my God. I was having a conversation with my therapist, and the therapist said that I have a thing for emotionally unavailable.
No, standard. Anyway, let me not
What
proclaim.
do you mean standard? Hold on, wait.
No, I had just that I've been cured. I don't.
No, standard.
It's true. And sometimes you don't even know that you have. Like I didn't know that.
I like my men.
I didn't know that until I found the problem, and then I think I've cured it now.
I think it stems a lot from my daddy issues. But I've grown enough to know that like I have to handle my own daddy issues myself. I agree, but I definitely do have a thing for emotionally unavailable men. And my therapist asked me to think about the male relationships in my life and which positive relationship do I think I have. And I should use that positive relationship as a yardstick, as of measurement for how every other man in my life treats me.
Okay, fair. That's a good one.
And I was like, honestly, y'all can't compare, because the person that I was saying like is a good positive male relationship in my life is my best friend, right? And honestly, I feel like with how close we are and who he is to me, I'm about to prove my therapist right, but I was like, I don't know where I'm going to find a man that is that invested in my well-being because they actually love and care about me. Just how I'm saying. Like, I'm literally proving my therapist right in what I'm saying, but like I just feel like where do they make those at? Like, it's not like as if I haven't met men that like were obsessed with me. I just always find something unattractive about it.
I'm screaming.
No, but I think that the good thing is even identifying the problem, because you can't fix what you
That's why I said earlier, I don't date my spec.
But now I feel like I'm really, really entering my soft girl era, and I like people that like how my best friend sees me. I like how people that see me and see me for who I am, not even for who they think I am or who society thinks I am, but just see me for who I am and meet me on that level. I have a thing for that now. I would say that for sure.
Fair.
So I'm unlearning.
And you're learning.
Because I feel like I think my defense mechanism is if he is emotionally unavailable, it's not going anywhere. So I kind of have some sort of control that it is not going anywhere.
Okay.
But there's just a lot of bullshit.
Fair.
Yeah. So let go when you get your first intuition, or when the sugar is too much. Which one?
I think first red flag.
Bye.
It's not that easy, Sha.
It's not that
easy. But this is the thing. I feel like
first red flag.
If you see a red flag waving and you ignore it,
you allow
exactly. You allow 1,000,001 other red flags to pass.
Yeah.
And by that time, the shege your eye would have seen, you're gonna cry.
True.
But if you see a red flag and you say, you know what, it's a red flag. However, this is a new situation, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold this one in my left hand. Maybe it was a mistake. It was a misstep. Do you get? It's possible. It can be a mistake or a misstep. You address it the best way you can and you move on. But then if it continues or you see more, at least it won't pain you because you've had that first initial red flag in the back of your mind. So you can say, well, it was in my left hand. I didn't use it to eat it, but we know how we're going to move now.
Okay.
And I think also your friends, I'm very big on not quantity but quality of friends, especially like female friends. If you have good friends like sisters, they would hold you accountable. They would remind you of your goals. You know, sometimes even this letting go thing is that you set a goal. It might not even be instinct. It's just that, at a certain time, you need to be somewhere, you know. And your friends, if they really believe in you, like AMVCA, where the guy was crying behind his friend, which was so sweet. Aww. Yeah, but it's like I think at that level of commitment to your progress is what you need from friends. Because they would even remember, they would treat it more deliberately than you would. Friends also, therapy if you can afford it. Because the honest truth is, I look back and I realized that before I ever did therapy, I thought that I was letting go, but I was just burying. You
were just suppressing it.
Yes.
You were burying how you felt. Yeah.
So
I think that's also something that I realized as well in therapy. I realized in therapy that I don't forgive and I don't forget. Like, I'm not a forgive and forget. But I used to believe that I genuinely used to forgive and forget, but I don't know how to. I'm sorry. I'm the person that after 10 years, I'll remind you that you did this thing. This thing you're doing now, you did it 10 years ago. I don't know how to forget. So honestly, it's better to not offend me. Or if you offend me, just tell me you're sorry. To reduce significantly how I talk about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But it's therapy that made me realize that I was not a forgive and forget girl.
Screaming.
Like, I'm not.
And that's okay.
No, fair enough. I think therapy made me realize that, because I always used to say that I was attracted to savior mentality. So it's like trying to fix a man. But I realized that I don't really like the men that are not fixed. You know, I always think, I can build. And I'm probably going to get dragged. But like, I realize that I'm not a build with you person.
Come ready. Like, come ready.
Come already built.
Yeah, I realize, and I think it's also because I know the amount of work I have put in myself, financially, mentally, spiritually. So if you haven't put that kind of work, and I realize that I would be resentful 100%. When I would build with these guys in hopes that we would get married or something. So I was never building even for the right reasons. I was building because I hoped that there was some sort of reward in front. So now that I've built a couple of people halfway, And I realized that there's no reward in the thing.
No
like
not you being Bobette the builder.
I'm not building again. And this is even how I pray to God. I'm like, I'm not dating for potential. I'm not, because it would make me resentful. Like, let the person go and do the work and come. I feel like a dick
recently, because the person I was talking about that I said that I realized that they soft blocked me. The person has so much potential. But I'm just like, not on my watch.
As no potential. Go and do something with the potential.
Are we bastards?
No. Do you know how I honestly feel about this? Yeah. Let me tell you something for a fact. Yeah. I'm cute, but I'm not the prettiest girl in the forest.
Who said that?
I'm they're fine. Bitches. Who said that? Man. Like, listen.
I mean, fair enough.
However, part of the attraction behind me is like, okay, the work I've put into myself. You can see I'm not hungry. It's not that you date me and I say, hey babe, I want to get to Lowkey. Can you send me 4K? What? You guys not even 4K now. Can you send me 8K to get to? Do you get?
Yeah.
Why can't I have the same view on a man? I don't want to wake up in the morning and give you a get up pep talk. You've already gotten up. I'm giving you finish well. That's the pep talk. You've come this far. Don't stop. I don't want to. I'm not a mechanic. No. I don't used to feel. I don't want a car that you'll start away. No. I want what I room, and I'll just say, like this, honey, this parking space is tight. This parking space is tight, but you can do it.
And the truth is, sometimes building also has like the mental part of the whole thing. E.g., I know that when there's conflict, I don't know how to keep malice. Like, I cannot. Like, I don't know how to do. No.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know how to do the one that we're living together, we're not talking to each other because something happened, right? Maybe I need to learn it, but I don't want that in my home, right? So that's the kind of, like, I also want somebody that, if I have learned to communicate my needs this way, you should know how to, like, that's like, let's be on the same. Don't just disappear.
I think that is my,
like, I can't. I beg, bye bye.
Definitely something I did. Silent, like going silent.
Oh my God, I don't know. Like, that thing drives me crazy.
Hey, I can go very silent. Yeah.
I think the easiest thing, well, not
end of relationship. Like, from there, just be. That's how one of my relationships actually ended.
If like, you talk to me for 2 days, I'm single, you know.
Like, just, and he came back to two weeks to come and do what is happening after 2 weeks. Like, sorry, I cannot, like, just go from there.
I want to, but if you do it to me, obviously we're over. But me, I feel
we're
like
over.
I can just go quiet.
This is why they say women are wicked.
I literally now even interpret it as emotional abuse.
It is. That's why when you said maybe you should learn it, I was like, no, don't, because honestly, I'm someone that does it, and I'm telling you that you are doing it. The person that does it is usually the person that cares less in the relationship. They know that you keeping quiet is hurting that person. So it is emotional abuse.
No.
That's why when you said that you did, I was like...
And then any relationship that brings out my, I don't want to call it motherly instincts, but all this, like, when I'm feeling like a mommy, like, I'm not, I really think that I've done the work.
You've mothered enough children.
I've done the work. I really think I've done the work, and I deserve somebody that has also been desperate enough to do the work. So when we meet, we know that even though we're not perfect, it's healthy. There's a certain standard.
Yes.
Not that I've finished all my therapy money will now waste because I partnered with you. It's not fair on me.
There's nothing worse than doing all that work in therapy and then meeting someone that drags.
Do you understand?
Back
down,
and then all the
back down.
No, it's true.
Say you're white as he drags you down. I feel that the conclusion is decenter men.
Decenter
men.
I think center
defund
yourself
them
and
from a lot of things.
Yeah, center yourself. You are the
I think center yourself and
thing in
decenter
your life.
everything else. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's standard. Even in employment, because the truth is, I mean, not people talk about jobs, leaving jobs, but I think when you're talking, I was thinking of how even for employers, when you employ somebody, the truth is, especially for startups, you're thinking this person is going to be here 10 years, 20 years. This person will have equity, and then when the person is like, yeah, I'm leaving, and then that's why you hear people that they are very disgruntled. Some people cannot tell their boss that they are resigning because it's a whole thing of you're not loyal, and that's because the boss you are so attached to the idea of what this would be. So I hear you when you talk about like decentering yourself and like detachment. Don't think too far. Before, when I meet a guy, first days I'm thinking,
how will our wedding
be?
First
what
dress I'm gonna wear,
second outfit. Now I probably just think like maybe first dress. I'm not thinking second dress, which is progress. Like
I swear, like I was telling my friend that before, I used to catch feelings in like 3 to 4 business.
No,
days,
like
now it takes me 6. So like,
I like it. I like that improvement.
6 days is a lot.
What's your time? What's your time like to be?
Do you know what? I'm falling in love with people that I haven't even spoken to. God. So there's that. So
is that in love or in lust?
I'm in love with them.
You say so? Anyway, please let us know can you guys send us stories and tell us about situations that you held on too long to. Honestly, when last you throw away a bra? When did you throw away an old bra?
Yesterday.
Proud of you. But before yesterday, when was it?
They
brought you. I'm dead. They brought you new bra from London, Abi. That's why you threw away the old.
I did this bra.
No, but me,
bra. The wire was already doing like this.
That's another thing that has to let go of a good bra.
Yeah,
it's hard to let go of a good bra.
Works. It can't.
It's really hard to let go. So I can't remember like. I think I bought bras last summer, but like before I bought those bras last summer, like my old soldiers that was still in my rotation.
Real soldiers.
Like no, but you have to have a plan now. Like you need to know, okay, this is how I'm replacing it. No?
Exactly.
And now I don't even wear them all together, so it's not like why did I even bother?
But let them just be there as backup in case you don't know when there'll be emergency.
You know what? That's one of the things I'm so looking forward to doing when I go to London.
What's that?
Bra shopping.
Oh God.
Oh,
getting new support for the girls.
I thought you were about to say not wearing bra. I said, Jesus, I'm not following you to London again. Anyway, it's been a very fun episode with Debbie.
I know, I've had so much fun. Wow, invite me again.
Yes, we will. The new season.
I'm a fun babe.
You are very fun.
People don't know. I'm sure you are shocked, right?
Yeah. I'm shocked. So we are already giving vibes before you came in now.
Don't mind that. But I think it's been really fun having you on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We have episode 19.
Yes. So
wow, we have one more episode left until the end of season 2. Oh wow, it's feeling very it's giving emotional. So should we get a guest? There's one particular guest I'm really trying to get, but it doesn't want to agree, but it's such a juicy guest. I don't want to say it because if I say it and put him on the spot now, he will now say he's not going to come.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to beg him to come, but did you hear what I said?
No.
I'm trying to beg him.
You know that I'm here as a fan too, right? So I need people to understand that when you're saying things, I'm receiving it like I'm in my room saying it on you. You understand? Like that's actually what's happening.
Like I really want him to come, but if he doesn't agree, then we'll figure out what we're going to do for the last episode of this season.
Oh my God, so just one more till this season.
It's actually a very emotional time.
What will we do with our Tuesdays? Them.
I don't know. We have to giving them a recap. We have to. I don't know what we're going to do with our Tuesdays.
Them.
I don't know. Maybe Abbas will tell us what we'll do with our Tuesdays. Abbas, will you tell us what we'll do with our Tuesdays?
Abbas said, don't involve me, please.
But thank you guys so much for watching. Debbie, where can they find you on social media?
Instagram, Debbie of Brila.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's the only place. Don't go anywhere else. I'm serious on the other platforms.
You said don't go anywhere else. I'm serious on the other platform.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us. And for those of you, don't forget to you can always like and subscribe. Please continue to show us love. And
as always,
give us
yes,
the
so
And we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.